Hey there, this is Chad Garber. How you doing? This is Chad Garber. In this video, I am doing another in my series called Escaping the Pentatonic Box 1, which I took from, what's his name? Oh, God, I forgot his name again. Sorry, I forgot his name. Morton, that's right. Sorry, Morton Ferristrand. I took that idea, even the title from him. But now I'm kind of expanding it on my own. So thank you so much, by the way, for Morton. He did a great job teaching this in his video. There's a video link of his video in the description, and so I'm just kind of expanding on that. I already did a video yesterday, but now I'm doing a live stream follow-up because I think it's so powerful. There's so many things that I want to show or that I want to learn and show. And also, today, I actually am incorporating modes. All right, so basically, if you can watch my video, I'll put a description here somewhere eventually. I'll put a description for yesterday's video, but I'll explain it real quick for you. Bottom line is, a lot of us can do a pentatonic scale. A lot of us know the pentatonic scale, you know, the minor, what actually is called position 1, I think. The position 1 of the pentatonic scale, which is... That's in the key of E. Here's the key of A. and so a lot of us, me, for instance, I would always use that for just whenever I'm doing solos, I would just go to that first position to do solos. Now I had memorized, there's 5 positions, okay? There's 5 different positions of the pentatonic scale. The first one is, what I'm going to actually use is I got this little document that I can show you. I'm not sure if it's big enough. Let's see if you can see it. I don't know if it's big enough. She'll see. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that shows 5. We can make it bigger maybe. Okay, so it shows 5 positions. The first position, if you look at, that's basically a fretboard with the notes of the scale. Okay, you got the position 1 is position 2 is position 3 is position 4 is position 5. Making sure it stays focused. Position 5 with this, and then position 6. Is there 6? No, there's 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. So first one, second one. Third one. Fourth one. I'm sorry, this was the fourth one. And the fifth one. Okay, so those are the different positions. I have memorized those just based on where they are on the scale. Looking at my fretboard. In the A position, I've memorized that. But I've never really used them not very much at least. Because I would always be, even when I'm doing solos, rather than using all those, I'm just using these. Because I couldn't visually see where each mode, each position was really very easily when I'm playing a solo or whatever. I mean, I probably could if I would have thought about it. But, so but these are kind of some crucial things that I had known. So I had learned the pentatonic scale and the 5 positions. So I would recommend you do the same. And then also what I've learned is I've learned the 7 mode, the 5 modes. Well, at least let's see. There's 7 modes, and I memorized those too. Okay, you got the Aeolian. You can look this up. But anyway, I don't have any documentation for that right here. But the Aeolian, then you have the Mixolydian. And then you have the Lydian. you have the Phrygian. Phrygian. And then you have the Dorian. And then you have the Ionian. And you have the Locrian. Okay, so I had those, and so I memorized that too. And I just memorized the positions and the scales. And that one I did in the key of E. So I started with the Aeolian. Okay, so all this, I had this knowledge, and I've practiced those for years and years and years. But I haven't really been able to use them. Actually, I've probably used the different modes, more than I've used the different positions of the pentatonic scale, honestly. Like I use a lot of mixed Lydian and Lydian. But anyway, so this all comes together. Okay, so the concept of the video that I watched that I'm talking about is a way to play something other than the position 1 of the pentatonic scale. And he makes the point, Morton, is it Morton? It's Morton, right? I can't remember his name. It's an not unusual name, but not as common of a name as, Morton. Morton makes the point that a pentatonic scale is only 5 notes total. That's the whole thing. And it's just 5 notes, but then you can cross the octaves. Okay, so 5 notes. And so he shows us 5 notes. So if we're doing the E pentatonic scale, the 5 notes are, you can do it like this if you want to stay in box 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he says, he shows a different way to do it, where you do the same thing, but you go. So in other words, I'm hitting the 15th fret of the E with my pinky, 12th fret of the E with my pointer finger, and then the normal way is the 15th fret of the B string with my pinky, 12th fret of the B string with my pointer finger, and then I end on the 14th fret of the G with my ring finger. So this is the normal way to do it. Normally how I would do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he says, he shows that we can do it this way. Same first 2 notes, 15th of the high E, pointer finger on the 12th fret of the high E. But then you can slide that down to the 10th fret of the high E instead of going to the other one. Instead of going to the 15th fret of the B, you go to the 10th fret of the high E, which is the same note. But you can just slide it down instead of going. And then instead of going to the, then you get back, you end up at the 12th fret of the B again, because that was the same note. But then rather than hitting the 14th fret of the G, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you end up on the 10th fret of the B instead of the 14th fret of the G. So rather than going, you go like this. So again, rather than this, you do this. And again, there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. But this way is opening up a huge thing. Okay, so these are the 5 notes. Now, if there's only 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, then you can just take those exact same notes and just push them across the octaves. So the way you do that, and the cool thing is it's very easy to do. You do this. Okay, so that's the 1 octave. So you go down 1 octave, right? And then you do that exact same pattern, that exact same shape you did on the higher octave on this next octave. Again, the shape is you skip 2 frets and then you slide down past 1 fret. So you skip 2 frets basically, and then you slide down 1 fret. But here's the shape, It's easy to look at, You got 1 fret, and then you got 2 frets in between. Well, you pick 1 fret, and you got 2 frets in between them. Then you pick that 3rd fret, and then you skip another fret, and you go to the next fret. And then you go to the next string and do the same thing. So it's a little box. But once you look at it and play it a couple times, it's very easy to remember that shape. So like I said, all you have to do is take that exact same shape and move it to the next octave. So here's the first one. Here's the next octave. So all you do is that exact same shape. Okay? Not did a very good job of that, man. All right, and so then if we get to the next octave, you just go to the next octave and do the same exact thing, the exact same shape. You remember one shape and you get all this. So here's third octave. The next octave is this. Do the exact same shape. And that's the 5 notes that cover the whole, all the octaves, not all the octaves, but those octaves in the key of E. So here's the whole thing. Well, that part was hard. I mean, there's a trick to learning that. You're going to have to recognize some other shapes. And here's kind of the key of what I've been learning, or part of the key. So when you do this, in order to connect the two, like in order to figure out where the next octave is and how it all fits together, you come in. Another shape helps you. Okay, so the next shape is this. So you notice this shape basically. The truth is, you don't really need to know that, though. It helps me, but you don't really need to know it. Because if you just memorize the first one, and you know but you have to memorize where the next octave is. That's about it. Because otherwise, if it was symmetrical, you could just go. But it's not. So you have to. So again, you don't really need to know the second shape. It's just, to me, it popped up. It was helpful for me to go ahead and learn this shape too, which is the 12th fret of the E. My pointer finger, my middle finger on the 12th fret of the E. My pointer finger, what was this? My ring finger on the 12th fret of the E. My pointer finger on the 10th fret of the E. My ring finger on the 12th fret of the B. And my pointer finger on the 10th fret of the B. Then my middle finger again on the 12th fret of the G. And my pointer finger on the 9th fret of the G. You don't really need to know this shape if you just memorize the other one, but this helped me for some reason. So because when you go, in my mind, it kind of goes to the next shape. But again, you don't have to, because you can just memorize where the octave is. Oh, I guess it helped me help me not do this way, because it's tempting to go. Yeah, that's what it was. It made it smoother. Memorizing that second shape made it much smoother, and then the third shape as well. But the third shape is. But again, you don't have to memorize this. You can just memorize the first one. But this kind of what helps me make it not as these other shapes help me kind of go. All right, and so all that is. But again, the key of the E. I'm using my ring finger to hit the 9th fret of the G, 7th fret of the G, 9th fret of the A. I'm sorry, D, and then the 7th fret of the G. I mean D, and then where the next octave is actually is the 10th fret of the A. That's the shape. And so those again, you memorize the first shape, but those other shapes kind of show up when you're going down, when you slide them down, and they kind of help you. Well, the cool thing about that also is that other shapes, those little shapes that you see, are actually partial shapes of the positions of the pentatonic scale. Mind blown. So when you go, so that first shape, that shape, the second shape I showed you, that's actually, which one is it? Which one was that again? I'm still kind of getting the position numbers down. That is the 5th position, which makes sense. This is right next to the E. Yeah, that's the 5th position pentatonic scale. So when you're doing solos, and you're right there, you might want to go, I'm just going to jump on the train of that scale. I'm going to jump on the 5th position instead of going down. I'm just going to go to the 5th position and go down that way. And then, so that is, that's the way this is helping me. That's why it helps me I keep on trying to say things correctly, and I'm like stuttering and stuff. It's hard to explain, but I understand it. I'm trying to explain it in a clear way. So it helps me to recognize the actual pentatonic shapes. Okay, so that's the fifth one. Now this one. So this will be the third, fourth, third. Let's see which one this one is. Again, I'm not all the way. I got to use a little reference thing for now. My brain is not working all of a sudden. It stopped working. That was fourth position. Yeah, okay, so then the next one, this area, the third one I showed you is the actual fourth position pentatonic scale. I'm not sure if I said it right, but the Aeolian is the first. The first position is the regular pentatonic scale. Yeah, okay. So then you got this one, then you got the fifth, then you got the fourth. Yep. But anyway, so that's a partial. So that third thing I showed you, the third shape, is a partial of the fourth pentatonic scale. So then again, if you're playing that solo, whoops, you end up here. But you might want to just go ahead and jump on the train of the fourth pentatonic scale. Or you could just go from there and you can go down further again. So then you're on the third, I believe. Yep, then you're on the third pentatonic position. So if you're down there, you go. Whoops. You're down here, you want some more. You don't want to go all the way back. You don't want to go. You can just do the third position of the pentatonic scale. Okay. So the second. Let's see, what is the second one again? The second position is. Now, I don't think that position is. I don't think this technique. I mean, I guess it has to. I'm trying to think where that one comes up. Yeah, I don't know if it. I don't know if the second position is made. I don't know if the second position of the pentatonic scale really shows up when you're doing this method. It might. That doesn't come to mind. So anyway, so that's the first thing. Okay, 5 notes, do them in octaves. And another thing about this, by the way, is that it really forces you to do a different phrasing. And this is a huge deal. This is a humongous deal. It forces you to do different phrasing. Like when you can only do so many different phrases with this. You can do a lot, but all of a sudden, if you're forced to do this different method, you're forced to do different phrases and you'll do phrases that you've never done before, and all of a sudden you'll sound like people you've heard play before. And you're like, oh, that's how they do that. You know, they didn't just come up with that out of their brain. Some of them did, but they probably just had a different way of doing the notes, so they forced them to do different phrasing. So I would never go. I mean, I would not do that one, but there's some things I would probably not do had I not done it this way. Whoops. Okay, so that's that first step. Or I don't know, it's first segment. I don't know. Maybe it's, yeah, because it's the first segment of this video. I'm sorry I'm babbling. Hey, Steve Ozone. What's up, man? How are you? Actually, Steve, I'm actually just about to do what Steve Ozone actually pointed out in my last video. So I'm glad he perfect timing. Oh my gosh, that was perfecto timing because I was just about to get into what the next step of this thing. Okay, so thank you so much for Steve Ozone for joining in and for pointing out his comment on my video yesterday. Made me connect this next part. Okay, so the next part is connecting the scale positions with the modes. Now, what are the modes? Like, you can look it up and you can study them out. I just went through those. Oh, you're off. Okay, see ya. Thanks, man. He's got to work, I think. And so anyway, but he thank you so much for watching. But anyway, so he pointed out that you should match up. Actually, I'll read his comment, actually, if I can find it. Can I find his comment? Oh, he's joking. Okay, good. He's staying. He was being funny. All right. So he's sticking around. Okay, so let me read his comment real quick. If I can find it, and my internet would speed up a tad. Okay, here we go. He said, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, he said, it's also good. Oh, man, I didn't even see this part. He must have expanded this. Or maybe he, for some reason, YouTube is putting some of these, like he put the first comment for some reason in my spam. I was like, it's not spam. All right. So anyway, oh my gosh, that is so funny. Did you just add this? Did you add this? Did you change this, Steve? Because that's exactly what I just came up with just now. I came up with the same exact chart. It's kind of funny. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so he said, let me see what he said initially here. Okay, so I'm going to eventually get to the initial one. It is also good to know what mode the other positions are outlined. And he said the pentatonic minor, and he's going into exactly what I'm about to go through. The Aeolian is a standard minor shape. Yep, it's the first position. The Ionian is the second position. The Dorian, third position. Phrygian, fourth position. That's what I got on my thing. I think we're in agreement there. Mixolydian. Yeah, we got the same exact thing. So diatomic adds. I'm not even going to go to the diatomic part because that's a little bit more than I'm ready to teach. Okay, but it's very cool though. And so anyway, I think he worded it maybe different earlier. Or maybe he didn't. The point is perfect because now we have and he pointed out how you can connect the positions with the modes, and then even what specific ones are, and so that's pretty much what this. See, why does that say? The message is held for review. I don't know why it does that. Yeah, YouTube is weird. The message, whatever message was just it was whatever. I guess he didn't like the cuss words, so I'll just remove that just so he stops so they stop yelling at me. All right, so okay. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm showing. Okay, so now we're back on this thing. Okay, we're doing this. Let's say we're doing this, a little solo. And then we recognize this shape. Oh, that's this. We recognize that it's the fourth shape or the fourth position of the pentatonic scale, which is. But you know what also it is? The fourth position of the pentatonic scale is also, like he said in his notes and how I have it right here, is the Phrygian mode. And so when I'm hanging out in the pentatonic scale, I can all of a sudden cruise to Phrygian. So I can go I'm in the pentatonic position 4. And if I want to, I can cruise over to the Phrygian. Whoops. If I could do it right. That's all I'm saying. Hold on. Okay. For some reason, it's not clicking it. Okay, like that. Yeah, sorry, maybe that might be too difficult. Actually, it's more the. Isn't it really the? If I look at it really, do you have Phrygian on your notes, or did you have something else? Because I think it's probably the Lydian. No, he has Phrygian too. It's the fourth. Okay, so the fourth position is this. In the pentatonic, in the E minor pentatonic scale. The Phrygian would be Phrygian from the fourth would be. Technically speaking, if you start from the exact same position of the fourth, but the Lydian would start on the same exact note. I haven't obviously mastered the mapping, but I came up with Phrygian too, though. So. So anyway, so if you're doing that fourth, I think it's technically the Lydian. What do you think about that, Steve? You think it's the Lydian or the Phrygian? Because the Lydian actually starts in the exact same note as the fourth position. You're starting from the minor scale and not the major, so you count the sixth mode. You missed the Lorian and Lydian in a minor. You missed the Locrian and the Lydian in a minor pentatonic. Huh. I don't quite get that because I'm not great with that theory, but I believe him. Let's see. So you count from the sixth mode. So you're saying that. So if you're saying for some reason, even though it starts in the same note, this is not. I don't quite get that for some reason. Because the Phrygian starts, one fret below where the fourth pentatonic scale position is. The Lydian starts on the exact same one. So I'm talking maybe just for memory sake, it might be better. Or we just have to, can you explain that a little bit further? So you count from the sixth mode. So again, like if you're, you at least hear what I'm saying? I'm not trying to confuse everybody. I'm just trying to get this down. I came up with Phrygian too when the first time I did it, and it really is Phrygian anyway. But you don't start from the same note. You start from one fret down. I don't know why I came up with Phrygian either, but maybe I was right. To me, it makes sense. The Lydian is just like a Phrygian. It's just that one fret up. It starts one fret up. Maybe I'm just doing I don't know. No, I'm just going to say we'll figure it out. It's either the Phrygian or the Lydian. Anyway, the point is there's a corresponding mode to the pentatonic position. And so if you're sick of doing a pentatonic scale position, you can crank into the Lydian or the Phrygian. I'm going to call it Lydian now until we figure out why. I missed the Locrian. See, you were starting from the minor scale. Yeah, so we'll figure that part out. Okay, so the next one, though, so you're continuing to solo with this new technique, right? You do this part. So all of a sudden you're on the third position of the pentatonic scale, right? So you're there, but then you want to say, hey, I'm sick of doing pentatonic scales. I'm sick of these 5 notes. I want to go to more notes. So let's go do the Dorian instead. of a sudden you got all these notes you can play with. Okay, and so then okay, so this way you end up at the second position. What position are we in? We're on the I'm hard to keep track of numbers. I recognize the shapes, not the numbers, but anyway. So we're on the so we get to the nothing looks familiar all of a sudden. Let's see. I think it's position 3. Okay, so I guess we're in position 4 a second ago. I might have said it wrong. I'm wrong. So that was probably 4. This is position 3. So all of a sudden you're at position 3. Okay, so then you say, well, I'm sick of playing these stinking 5 notes. I want to play more. Wait a minute. So that was stupid. So wait a minute. We have the second. Let's see. Where is this? The third position was the Dorian. Okay, so when we're at the third position, this one. No, this is the fourth position. Okay, so the fourth position was the Phrygian or the Lydian. Now I'm real confused. I've screwed the whole thing up. Hold on. Okay, so this position right here is. Best way to practice is just to play the pentatonic shape that outlines the mode and highlight the color tones from that, but adding the note to your standard pentatonic scale pattern. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to even. Okay, so this is position 1. Position 2 is. And that corresponding. Okay, because I was looking at the wrong way. I see. Okay, so that was 2. I called it 4. Okay, that's what I screwed up. That was 4. Okay. I'm so dumb. Okay, so that was the one I was saying. The Lydian or the Phrygian is 4. The next one was 3. Well, I was right about that. And then, yeah, 3D. Yep, 3. And that one is. And that's the Dorian. And then the Ionian. So then you get down to here. Down here, and you're on position. Oh yeah, that was the Dorian position. Okay. So you're down here, so all of a sudden you want to do Dorian. Okay, what did I do a second ago? I skipped the. Now let's see here. So 1. So to see 4. 1, 4, 3, 2 is the Ionian. So what is this one in here? That's the third one. I'm making this way more confusing than it really is. I just got my brain farted up. Okay, so then. And then. So this is actually position 4. Alright, so I got to start over here. Let's try this again. I guess I'm getting close. Alright, so the Aeolian equals the position 1 of the pentatonic scale. Here's the first pentatonic position 1. And that's the Aeolian mode. Okay, now this next one is. See, I'm used to going. The whole problem is I'm used to going from the A up, not down. The next one is the position 5. That's what I screwed up. The second one down is the position 5. I was calling it 3 and then 4. Okay, it's 5, dork. My bad. Okay, and the 5 is this. So you're doing this. And the 5, if you want to, like, if you're sick of playing the pentatonic scale, so kind of ignore some of the details I said a second ago. The concept is still the same. You can still learn from what I'm saying. Okay, but the 5th position equals the mixed Lydian. So if you're doing this, well, that explains the Lydian problem too, huh? Real smart, Chad. Okay, so the mixed Lydian. So here's the 5th position. Okay, and the mixed Lydian is. See, that was the problem. I was calling it the wrong position. I was calling it 4 when it's position 5. So the fifth position is right there. And what corresponds to that is the mixolydian. So if you're doing the solo and you end up there, you're like, whoa, I'm going to do this position. I'm going to do the fifth position of the pentatonic scale. Then you can say, you know what, I'm sick to death of those 5 notes. I'm going to go ahead and do a stinking mixolydian. You can do that, okay? So then, that's where I screwed the whole thing up. I was thinking it was 1. I was going backwards. Okay, so then let's say you do this part. And you're here. So you're just like, hey, you know what? I recognize this pattern. This looks like the 4th position of the pentatonic scale. You're like, hey, I can do that. But then you can go, you know what? I'm sick to death of the pentatonic 5 notes. I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to go to the Phrygian. Now it works. The Phrygian works where it's supposed to work. So I'm going to add all these notes. Knowing these correspondences opens up the door of all kinds of notes. Okay, so my bad, Steve. It was my bad. It was not your bad. It was my bad. All right, so then you go, you're going. Instead of going up and down the octaves, I'm just going to go. I'm going to do a little position 3 of the pentatonic scale. And you go, you know what? I'm so sick to death of these 5 notes. I want some more freaking notes. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to do the Dorian there instead. You get all those other extra notes at your disposal, and so on and so forth. And so it's really cool. Now, takeaway from this is a couple things. First, you want to probably learn the pentatonic, the 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale. It's not that hard to do. You got to work at it. I look at it every day. I do my little exercises and I kind of do it up the screen. And then I'm going to read that in 1 second. And then also memorize the modes. And again, that might take a little time, but just, practice them every day. So once you get those things practiced and then you learn this new technique. And again, you know what? Here's a cool thing. Even if you don't learn the modes, you can still benefit greatly from this new technique. And it might actually even help you learn the pentatonic shapes and also, at least some of the modes, because you're doing some of the notes of the modes. But anyway, so Steve said to begin with, just play your normal pentatonic shape, but add the notes that give the mode its sound. Yeah. So play your position 5 pentatonic. Yeah. So you're like, so plate 5 would be. But then you can also throw in some notes that are Phrygian. It takes practice too, because I'm not used to doing that. Here's a stupid thing about me. I don't think I ever realized that the modes were corresponded to the positions of the pentatonic scale. But the truth of the matter is, the more I think about it, the pentatonic scale is just 5 notes, and so it's kind of like the structure or the foundation of a lot of the scales, right? It's just less notes. It's like you have the full scale, and then you take out some, and you got a pentatonic scale. So it's kind of cool. But so anyway, so I'm going to show you what it sounds like. Again, I think one of the biggest, another big thing is how it changes your phraseology. So let's go ahead and put another track on, and I'm going to do some of these things. And I'm going to mess up a lot because I'm screwing around. I'm trying to get some of the modes in there as well. But that's the point of playing right now. We are trying to learn new stuff and teach new stuff. See, in the past, I would just go. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of limiting. And it also keeps you locked into the same kind of phraseology. Yeah, it is easier to explain. Yeah, I know, it's hard to explain in notes. But here's what I would do in the past. I could do, whatever, but eventually I'd get stuck doing the same thing and I'd get bored and I'd get discouraged. Now I can go. Sorry, Steve. I didn't. You're explaining fine. Some things I don't know what's about. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's hard to write up. Everything you're saying is right. It was my bad. Alright, so now let's try to get some modes in there. It's hard. I gotta memorize it. So here's what I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna do the mode. I'm gonna do the positions first. So anyway, it opens up a lot of different notes. I really like the phraseology more than, and I like the notes as well, but I love how it changes your phraseology. Because I've been playing for a long time, and I've been stuck. And I would hear these people play these solos, and I was like, how the heck did they come up with this? Like, how did somebody come up with this? Supernatural or something, but no, I think if they're probably doing it from a different pattern. I've been trying to see what he said here. Shut up, video. Dirty blues, be quiet on me. All right, here we go. Walking. Oh, she must be having a nightmare. Most blue chords pattern are 145, so that will be Aeolian, Phrygian, Mixolydian. Yeah. And then, yeah. Rather than trying to fit the full scales in there, just use your normal pentatonic patterns, but use the one note of the modes that make them stand out. So the flat 2, Phrygian. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So like because like for the Mixolydian, for instance, really the notes are. This is kind of that's one of the notes that kind of stand out, or like the. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And if you switch keys, like let's do a key in A. Pull out your guitar, man. You want to jam? I wish you could jam live with me somehow. If you could play, if we could play some music and you could somehow play with it across the internet. Steve Ozone, very knowledgeable. Okay, so let's say A minor. And so again, this is just opening up all kinds of notes. It's opening up the power of the Phrygian, not the Phrygian, but the pentatonic scales, the positions and the modes. And I guess the more you do it, the better you get at it. And he said position 5, 1 4 5. So you play position 5. Wait, okay, yeah. I got that part. Which are yeah. Most chord patterns are 1 4 5. So that will be Aeolian, Phrygian, and Mixolydian over their respective chords. Now, what does that mean exactly? I'm actually doing yoga right now. I'm playing guitar. He's been playing guitar for 20 years now. Nice. Oh, he's doing yoga, but I'm interrupting his yoga. He's not being able to relax anymore because I'm stressing him out probably. It's funny because I've been playing for a while, a long time, since the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, which was a long time ago. And like I know some things, and I know some things, but then you learn something else, and all of a sudden, what you've learned actually comes to life. You know what I mean? Like me memorizing the different positions of the pentatonic scale was helpful, but not very. I mean, not really until I learned how to start incorporating them. Yeah, it depends what the chord pattern is. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, because it depends on if it's major or minor on the 1 4 5 scale. Yeah. But anyway, so I've missed, and I really feel like I'm missing a lot of more information. So I think that as we learn more and more music theory, which is actually kind of important, you all of a sudden you're able to do a lot more, and all of a sudden things start clicking around. You know what I mean? Like this is clicking. Okay, like oh yeah. That's the pentatonic position right there. I would never have run into that unless I got out of this part. And again, there's nothing wrong. Even if you don't, though, there's nothing wrong with this. And the truth is, you could probably, everybody does learn differently, and you got to find a way it clicks. That's true. That's what Steve says. Everybody learns differently, and you have to find a way that clicks. And I think as you add stuff, every now and then you'll add stuff that's life-changing. Like, it just makes other things that you've learned click at the right time. But again, you could do, I'm not saying it's wrong to do this or bad or weak or anything. Like some people will say, you're not a very professional guitar player if you only do the one thing. That's not true at all. There's different ways, there's different styles. To me, I'm just having fun learning some of this new stuff, so because it can get me out of the box, get me out of escaping the pentatonic box 1. But I'm going to still do the pentatonic box 1s when I like it. I can go. I like that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I got more notes to choose from now, and I got different. I can go. I'm sick of that. Like even that. That was new. Swing it, go into a swing. And the truth is I'm pretty positive of this. I haven't really thought a way through. If you play a normal monotonic scale and start off each note every time, you'll play through the modes anyway. If you start, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's exactly what my thinking was too, actually. Because I would use this like for the Aeolian. I would use that everywhere. And so if I was doing a major, I would just take that and go down 3 frets. You can make that minor turn to a major if you put it down, and that's how I did it. But this just opens up more doors. So there's nothing wrong with it. You can hit all the notes, but it's just, it's good to have more. I mean, it's helpful. It's fun. It's fun to have more options, What was I going to say? I forgot. All right, let's go to the jam. Let's jam an A. I opened it up, but I never started it for some strange reason. Where is you? Why are you not starting? Are you playing? What you doing? What you doing? I don't hear it. Oh, it's thinking. Sounds like Pink Floyd a little bit. difficult to explain over text. It's difficult to explain with words, let alone with text. So I'm staying in the box 1 right now. Again, nothing wrong with it. I want to venture out and do something a little different. It's a little bit tricky leading on the A because you don't have as much farther to go. You got to go up higher. I would never do solos like this before. Even that bend, I'm trying to hit that. You did a good job explaining it, Steve. It's more me. And again, most likely you just go, you mix them all up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, even though I didn't explain that. I got it. You hit all the notes with that stuff. Yeah, because you're hitting all that. Yeah. You can't explain it either. I see what you're saying. So again, you can do the position 1. You can go into position 1 and then go back into it. Or go away from it and then come back into it. Thank you so much. I'm screwing up a lot, but I'm learning. I love those little licks. I would never have done that before. There's going to be some trial and error. Like sometimes I'm going to bend and I'm not going to be bending the right way because all kinds of little boxes, So it's kind of a mixture of everything, of that pattern and the other pattern. And all of a sudden you have this to do. So you'll start seeing different patterns or different shapes. I'm not sure if that's even a very helpful one. I have a hunch that since there are only 5 notes in the pentatonic scale, I have a hunch there's different other patterns you can do as well. Same concept, and do the same thing with the different 3 options. This one might be the easy one, but I'm sure there's other ones you could come up with that are, that are helpful too. Let's see here. Like you could do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another one. And if you wanted to, you could, but this one, the good thing about this one is it starts at the very top of the first thing. So this is probably the best one. But I guess my point is you could probably come up with other, 5-note patterns that you can remember to get you across the board. But I really like this one particularly because it starts a good place. And this works with distortion too, believe it or not. But I'm really liking this sound. Good at working the modes yet, but I'm going to get there. Because it's easy to do faster licks. These are going down though. I'm missing notes, but I'm working on it. I've seen people do that my whole life, and I'm like, how do they do it? It drives me crazy. Because I couldn't do that with this. How do I do that with this? I can't do all that stuff. Now. I use the Aeolian all the time. And I use the Phrygian, the Aeolian, the Mixolydian. I'm good with the modes. I'm just it's hard for me to match the modes with the patterns. But it's gonna come in time. I know I'm overdoing this run, but I'm enjoying it. Gotta mess with that. That'll be cool, so I can get it. Cool thing is to fix it. The whole concept is kind of cool, though. The whole the octave thing. Because I've learned stuff like that before as well, but I never really put it into practice. But there's also, that octave thing is really cool. I'm gonna do this. Here we go. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna think of something different. So if you know the octave shapes, which I gotta memorize. Not sounding tuned anymore, am I? Silence. Dead silence. So if you have the mode, if you know those octaves, you can start whatever pattern from the first one and go to the next one. That's cool. Anyway, the cool thing is it's a cool way to go across octaves. Let's do one more backing track. It's really cool. But again, I love the position one. We can just expand now. I repeat myself quite often. All right, let's see one more jam. What key we gotta go in? Let's go. What key? Let's figure out. Let's do just a key. I'm not even gonna tell it what key. Let's see what key it decides for me. D minor. Let's see if we can do a D minor. Here's the position one. Pattern one. Anyway. I love it. This song is really demonstrating what I'm playing. Anyway, so that's the video. Thanks so much for hanging out, Steve. Have fun with your yoga. And how long have we been going? We've been going an hour and a half, an hour and 15 minutes. So anyway, hopefully this helped you. And I look forward to, I want to hear you play, Steve. You have videos or anything? You sound like you're really good. You have a lot of music theory, too. All right. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. Peace out. Hey, by the way, subscribe if you want to. That'd be cool. 'Cause every time I learn some of these new things that connect things, I'm going to share it. So subscribe. If you want to. If you don't, you don't.